What up, y'all? You're listening to Sports Talk with Tropp, and I'm your host, Katie Tropp. Well, say it with me, y'all. Gay for May! Gay for May! Gay for May! Yes, I would like to really thank New England Patriots fans for starting that chant, because I just found that out over the weekend, as a matter of fact, that is what New England Patriots fans are saying. That's their chant, that they are gay for May. They even have t-shirts that say I'm gay for May on them. I just got to say, that is my favorite fucking thing. If I was a Patriots fan, I would have an I'm gay for May shirt immediately. So I love seeing that. But at least New England Patriots fans are just letting us know right up front what exactly they are, just a bunch of gay-ass morons. So thank you for letting us know that in advance. So let's get right into these championship games that we had over the weekend. One was pretty terrible, and one was pretty good. So the AFC Championship game, that was the terrible one. This one was the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos. And good old Gay May, he got himself a win in this one. But gotta say, this was a very, very ugly win for the New England Patriots, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Drake May's statistics for the day were he was 10 for 21 with 86 yards. Yeah, 86, not even over 100 yards passing. He was sacked 5 times, but he did have 1 rushing touchdown, and that was basically the difference in this game. Actually, the difference in this game was Sean Payton and his poor decision to instead of kicking for it on a 4th down, they were in field goal range, and they went for it. I think it was on a 4th and 1, as a matter of fact. But it's just, you could tell that this was going to be a defensive game. Also, you've got a backup quarterback in there. Just take the points. It's actually kind of funny because both of these teams had take the points moments, did not take the points. It definitely cost the Broncos for sure. The Rams a little bit less, but we'll get there when we get there. But there was a moment with the Rams where I'm like, just take the points. They didn't do it, and it bit them in the ass as well. But the Broncos didn't take the points. And if they had they gone for the field goal and made the field goal, they would have tied the game up, and it would be a tie game, and who knows what would have happened. But instead, this was such a terrible game on the offensive side of the ball, and you can't even blame the weather, because a lot of people are trying to go, oh my God, yeah, it's the weather, and it's like, no, it was actually a terrible game before the snow even got out of hand, because in the first half, it was pretty much clear. It was just cold. There wasn't any snow or anything. Then about midway through the third quarter, it starts to snow. And then in the fourth quarter, it's just straight up snow. And nobody could do anything. But nobody was doing anything beforehand. This was such a terrible game from both teams. And the Patriots were just lucky to hang on. 10-7 was the final score. So I hope you were all very gay for May today. I'm sure you are, because the New England Patriots are once again in the Super Bowl. And who would have thought? I most certainly did not. As a matter of fact, I did not have the Patriots going anywhere this year. I expected them to be a bottom of the barrel team. And look at, here they are back in the Super Bowl. Not what I wanted to see, because, I was all thrilled. We had no Kansas City Chiefs this year. And it's like, nah, now we get the stupid ass Patriots again. So gay for May. But at least, luckily, I get to hear the gay for May chant for a couple more weeks, especially because coincidentally, the Super Bowl this year is in San Francisco. Well, not really San Francisco, because the stadium's technically in Santa Clara. But that's perfect for this gay for May chant. So hopefully it just takes hold, and just, that's all we hear for the next couple of weeks is gay for May. But he was not good at all in that game. Nobody on the offensive side of the ball for either team was good in this one. And like I said, the big play of the game really was Sean Payton not going for the field goal and not tying the game up, because things could have been different, but maybe not, because the Broncos just looked terrible on the offensive side of the ball as well. Then the NFC Championship game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Man, it was close. Man, it really came down to this one came down to one play. I will say there was a moment where I felt like the Rams, it was a 4th and 4, I believe. They were in field goal range. They could have kicked the field goal and been within 1. It would have been 31-30. So they still would have needed to get the ball again. But I just kind of felt like that would have given them a little bit more of a spark than what happened here. And but what the major play was that I feel like was the 100% game-changing play of this game was when the Rams, they're back for a punt return, and I believe it's the third quarter, and the dude is backpedaling, and the idiot trips. He falls backwards, and he touches the ball and fumbles the ball and sets the Seahawks up in beautiful field position. They would go on to score 7 points right after that. And basically, the Seahawks never looked back after that. They got the win 31-27, and the Rams just were playing catch-up. Once the Seahawks got the lead, after that muffed punt, it was, and it's just so ironic that is how the Rams season ends. Because all season long, their issue was special teams. I mean, they even fired their special teams coach midway through the season because special teams has been such an issue for them. As a matter of fact, the one moment that has always stood out to me with this Rams team is when the Eagles blocked the kick, and they were able to run it back and get the win in the end. And it's just like, that's the epitome of what the Rams season was. And then just to see this motherfucker backpedal, fumble the ball, and just set the Seahawks up in beautiful field position, and they just never looked back from there. And give it up to Sam Darnold, because all of us, myself included, were all basically waiting for him to choke yesterday, and he did not. He showed out. As a matter of fact, he went 25 for 34, 346 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He showed out in this one for damn sure. As a matter of fact, it wasn't just him. This defense has been great all season long, and they played great yesterday. The offense, they have so many playmakers. The ground attack gets going, and it's going to be very interesting to see if the Patriots are even able to keep up with this Seattle Seahawks team. I mean, obviously, I'll break it down once we talk about the Super Bowl more in depth, but I just kind of look at this and I go, the Patriots, they have their hands full with this one because the Seahawks are a complete team. They have it all. On the defense is amazing. The offense, it has their bad moments for sure, but it can get going. And when it gets going, it's difficult to stop. But to me, it's their special teams that is a big, big difference maker, because it's not even just what they did yesterday. You got Rashid Shaheed, who has already ran a couple of kickoffs and punt returns back. And just don't be shocked if this guy is the MVP of the Super Bowl, to be quite honest. But we'll see what happens. But, I mean, the Rams really put it all out there. I mean, it sucks because Matthew Stafford had a beautiful game. He also threw for over 300 yards, had 3 touchdowns, basically had a perfect game and had his heart ripped out as well. And then Devontae Adams, beautiful game as well, but it's just, they just never were able to recover from that muffed punt, and the Seahawks just never looked back. And so Super Bowl 60 is going to be the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. I want to know who had that prediction at the beginning of the season for either of those teams. Because like I said, I had New England as a bottom of the barrel team. And the Seattle Seahawks to me were I don't really know team. I felt like they could maybe be good, but I did not have them anywhere near the Super Bowl. And now here we go. And it's kind of hilarious just to see, everybody was all on the Josh Allen train and Josh Allen this and Josh Allen that. Well, guess what, y'all? The quarterbacks in this year's Super Bowl are Drake May, Gay for May, and Sam motherfucking Darnold, who has had such an insane career to watch. So it's actually pretty cool, just as a football fan, to see him get here. And hopefully he doesn't choke, and hopefully he's able to come out on top and get the Super Bowl win. But definitely a very interesting Super Bowl matchup that we have ahead of us. And I can guarantee you, nobody had those two teams picked as their Super Bowl teams in the end. So nobody, guarantee it. But that's what we're getting: Super Bowl 60, New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see what happens here in 2 weeks. All right, so let's get to the top 10 NBA power rankings for this week. And, still basically the usual suspects, a couple of movements here and there, but for the most part, basically the same teams, and the same number one still remains the Oklahoma City Thunder. Overall record of 37-10. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Milwaukee Bucks, but lost 2 in a row. They lost to the Indiana Pacers and the Toronto Raptors, and that is the first time that the Oklahoma City Thunder have lost 2 straight home games in over 800-plus games. So, that's how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are. And even though they're technically on a losing streak, I'm not dropping this team below number one until they actually start playing worse, which they have yet to do. They've been playing at a high level, and they still continue to play at a high level, and there are no weaknesses with this Oklahoma City Thunder team, at least so far. Then at number 2 on my top 10 NBA power rankings of the Detroit Pistons, overall record of 33-11. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Boston Celtics, the New Orleans Pelicans, lost to the Houston Rockets, and then beat the Sacramento Kings. And this team is just so strong. Even when Cade Cunningham's not in the game, I mean, when he's in the game, he's obviously the superstar. He's the dude who takes over the game. He's the number one. But even if he's sitting out, Durant, he'll take over the game. And hell, even if Durant is sitting out, somebody else will take over. And Asar Thompson, he's been a huge force in the paint this year. And this Detroit Pistons team, they are just a very, very complete team. And it's just going to be interesting to see if there is even one team in the Eastern Conference that is even able to compete with them once we hit the playoffs. I mean, I know there's a lot of basketball left to be played, but still, this Detroit Pistons team hasn't shown a weakness, and even with injuries, they've been able to overcome injuries, and they're just still one of the top teams who are dominating the paint, who are able to score, and they are just one of the best teams, not only in the Eastern Conference, but overall in the league. You could easily make an argument for them at number one on power rankings. It's just like I said, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, I've had them number one overall all season. There's no reason to push them back because they just are obviously the most complete team. They are obviously the best team, and they're just playing the best basketball. But you can easily make arguments for the Detroit Pistons as well at number one. Then at number 3 on my top 10 NBA power rankings of the Denver Nuggets, overall record of 31-15. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers, but beat the Washington Wizards and the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're just doing great, even with no Nikola Jokic. They are doing fantastic. Jamal Murray is playing great. Watson's playing great, and he's a rookie. I mean, they just really are getting help from all angles. Aaron Gordon, he's been having a fantastic season as well, and they just really are having zero issues scoring, and they just are scoring everybody out of the building. Still first in field goal percentage, knocking down 49.6% of their shots. Still first in three-point percentage, knocking down 39.5% of their three-pointers. So they're knocking down 40% of their three-pointers and 50% of their field goal percentage. So they're just not missing. And they only trail the Oklahoma City Thunder right now in averaging 120.7 points per game. So they're second in the league, whereas the Oklahoma City Thunder are first. And they basically have been just trading off all season anyway. So that's just kind of how it's gone. But the Denver Nuggets have been playing very well, even though no Nikola Jokic for a couple of weeks now. And that's definitely what you want to see from them, because once he comes back, this is going to be a really, really good team. Then at number 4 in my top 10 NBA power rankings of the San Antonio Spurs, overall record of 31-15. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Utah Jazz twice, but lost to the Houston Rockets and lost to the New Orleans Pelicans. But even beyond those two losses, they still are a really solid team. And, you like to focus in on Victor Wembanyama, but it's really not just Victor Wembanyama who's having a fantastic year. This Spurs team is they are getting better every single game. I really like what I see from this team. I really would not be shocked to see them in the Western Conference Finals once we hit the playoffs, because they're just gelling. I mean, you got De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson, Stephon Castle. They are just so many guys on this team who are like I said, it's not just Victor Wembanyama. There's just so many guys who are having a great season this year. And even if one guy steps up in one game, another one will step up in the next game. And it doesn't matter if there's injuries. It doesn't matter what's going on there. Just a very well-coached team playing some great basketball right now. Then at number 5 on my top 10 NBA power rankings at the Boston Celtics, overall record of 28-17. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Detroit Pistons, got a win over the Indiana Pacers, beat the Brooklyn Nets, and then lost to the Chicago Bulls. And it's just all about, man, Jaylen Brown is just having a fantastic year. And, once they get Tatum back, this is going to be a great team. And who knows when they're getting him back. I mean, it looks like it might be at some point this season. But just honestly, who knows with the Achilles injuries? Those are always really iffy, but he's really pushing to play at some point this season. So I kind of feel like we're going to get him. But until then, Brown has just been, he's been great offensively, defensively, with the rebounds, with the points. He has just been really taking over every aspect of this team so far, with a little bit of help from some other guys. White's been helpful, Pritchard's been helpful, but for the most part, it's pretty much been all Brown every single game, and he's been a monster this season, and he's going to really need Jason Tatum's help, because once he gets it, this is going to be a pretty damn good Boston Celtics team. Then at number 6 on my Tropp 10 NBA power rankings of the Houston Rockets, overall record of 27-16. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the San Antonio Spurs, lost to the Philadelphia 76ers, and beat the Detroit Pistons. And this is just another team that is just gelling really well. Offensively, they are dominating the paint still, especially on the rebounds. Amen and Şengün, they are just dominating the paint. And then you got KD, who is just scoring out of his mind this season. And they just are really a very solid team. They've had their downs a couple of times this season, but for the most part, this Houston Rockets team is legit. And I think they could actually compete with anybody in this league, but especially in the Western Conference. They are just a really good team. They beat the good teams, they beat the bad teams, and they just look good at both ends of the court. It's just, can they get consistency on the defensive side of the ball? Because that's really their big weakness, is the defensive side of the ball. Sometimes they get going on the defensive side of the ball, but then there's times where they just completely disappear, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Then at number 7 on my Tropp 10 NBA power rankings of the Cleveland Cavaliers, overall record of 27-20. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, beat the Charlotte Hornets, beat the Sacramento Kings, and beat the Orlando Magic. And it's really just all about Donovan Mitchell with this team. It's him, and is somebody else going to help him out? And there are times where he gets it. Unfortunately, Garland is injured again, so he's not going to get it from him for a little bit here. But when Donovan Mitchell actually gets help, this looks like a very, very good team. It's just, I don't know if they can actually compete with the Detroit Pistons and the Boston Celtics on both ends of the court, and only having Donovan Mitchell be the standout. You need somebody else to stand out with Donovan Mitchell, and so far, nobody really else has stepped up beyond Mitchell for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then at number 8 on my Tropp 10 NBA power rankings of the Los Angeles Lakers, overall record of 27-17. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Denver Nuggets, lost to the Los Angeles Clippers, and then beat the Dallas Mavericks. And this team is just all about Luka this year. He is having a monster season, still leading the league in points, averaging 33.4 points per game. He's averaging 7.8 rebounds per game, 8.7 assists per game, and 1.6 steals per game. So he's really getting it done on both sides of the ball, especially in this last game against the Mavericks. He played great defensively, but then sometimes he just completely disappears, and you're like, just what's going on there? And that's really the Lakers' problem, is they tend to get anemic defensively. They could get going scoring, but then once they got to start relying on the defense, then they just start to disappear, and that's just their problem. Also, consistency has not been a problem as well, but Luka has definitely been having a fantastic year. It's just, are we going to get some help from anybody else on the team? And we definitely need Austin Reeves back from injury. Then at number 9 on my Tropp 10 NBA power rankings of the Phoenix Suns, overall record of 27-19. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, and lost to the Atlanta Hawks, and then lost to the Miami Heat. And then, unfortunately, they lost Devin Booker over the weekend to an injury. Luckily, it's not going to be a long-lasting injury, but it's definitely going to be something that at least lingers for the next week or so. And that's just, I mean, Booker's been phenomenal this year. I mean, he's been pretty much the only reason why the Suns have been playing so well recently. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to at least maintain while he's out, at least for the next week or so. But before the injury, Booker was having a fantastic year and really just carrying the squad. So we'll see what happens without him. And then rounding out the Tropp 10 NBA power rankings this week, I have the Miami Heat. Overall record of 25-22. They are 5-5 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Golden State Warriors, beat the Sacramento Kings, lost to the Portland Trail Blazers, beat the Utah Jazz, and then beat the Phoenix Suns. They just had their stack of games this week. But the only thing with the Miami Heat is they are just not a very consistent team. Bam Adebayo, he's had a very up and down season. Jaime Jaquez Jr. has also had a very up and down season. It's just been very difficult to get any consistency from this team. And then, of course, you've got the Orlando Magic, who have been right up on their ass all season long. And it's just been those two trading back and forth. But Miami right now is on the upside of things and playing pretty solid basketball, especially compared to everybody else in the Eastern Conference right now. But it really is a battle between them and Orlando, and I kind of feel like it's going to be a battle all the way till the end because Orlando is just not going away. But right now, Miami has the upper hand, and so that is how they finally cracked the Tropp 10 this week. All right, y'all, enjoy the rest of the week of sports, and I will talk to you fools on Friday.